So today we just started by watching a video of a monkey playing mind pong, and that launched us into a discussion of how math is going to be used to help people who, for instance, are paralyzed to be able to link their brain to a computer wirelessly, like through almost like Bluetooth. And they showed a demo of how the monkey was able to play pong through this wireless mind connection. Pretty amazing. And I'm now going over some of the top 20s so that kids have a choice today of either take the top 20, or if you've already mastered that, I'm going to have you do a true 20, which is 20 harder ones. Okay. If you do not know the distance formula, please write it down now. See, part of the reason I challenge you with that is because some of you think, oh yeah, I know the distance formula. When you actually go to write it down, you're like, I actually don't. How many of you are actually really confident you've got it written down properly? Raise your hand if you, I want to just see how many there are. Virtually two. Raise your virtual hand. I just want to see. It looks like we've got about a third of the kids who have the distance formula memorized. And I'm going to just show it to you now. Everybody, if you had it wrong, please write this. I like to give it as a fight club. If you walked into the warehouse in Minnetonka, there's a fight club. And you walk in, you're not going to see a guy fighting a girl. That'd be a dumb fight. They don't usually do that, right? But it'd be a guy fighting a guy. Fight is a negative thing, so, we get a minus in there. And then they would be squared up against each other, right? See what I did there? And then as you walk from that fight onto the next fight, I want you to just picture that there's a plus sign that you trip over. Like, just if you can make it visceral, like oh, ouch, what was that on the floor? Oh, it was a plus sign. That's really dumb. Somebody's going to sue them, like, going to break their leg. Stupid plus sign. Why do we do that? To drill it into your brain that it is not a minus in there. That's a very common mistake, is to subtract them. And of course, the other fight is the Y's, and they're squared up against each other. Now, some of you are obsessed with the 2's and the 1's in this formula. Like, what about the sub 2's and the sub 1's? It's irrelevant. Because do you get if I'm going to use an 8 and a 2 for my x values? That 2 minus 8 or 8 minus 2 are either 6 or negative 6, but when you square it, it won't matter. Do you get what I mean? If it's 2 minus 8 or 8 minus 2, it's either 6 or negative 6, and if you're going to square it, it won't matter. Okay, it's the square root of 8 minus 2, might as well do it the easy way, squared, plus, and then the y's. I could do 8 minus 12, or why not do it the easy way? 12 minus 8. And it doesn't matter because you're going to square that negative number if it turns negative. Final answer, square root of 36 plus 16, square root of 52. If this was on the ACT test, they would have left it as the square root of 52. They would not have given you a decimal. I can guarantee it. You know why? Because calculators cannot be required to take that test. Do you get some kid might not have a calculator? That wouldn't be fair. So the answer would have been square root of 52 on the ACT. Wouldn't have been some weird decimal like 7.3. Yes? Would it be 2 root 13? Oh, could they have simplified it? Absolutely, and that would have been a vicious twist. 13 goes into 52? Who knows that? 13 times what? Was it 4? So square root of 13, square root of 4, which would be 2 root 13. Now, could they have put either? Yes, the ACT does not have a requirement that they have to put it in the lowest form. But if I had looked for square root of 52 and it wasn't there, I might have gone, I'm really confident it was square root of 52, and I might have looked at the other choices. And then I would have gone, oh, wait a minute, maybe it reduces. And then I would have thought, what goes into 52? Dang. And you probably would have noticed it was even. But then not just 2 goes in twice. And anyway. Okay, cool. Thank you for catching that. So that's the distance formula. That's just one of many little things that could make your life better on the ACT. Let's do another one. I was amazed how many kids got this wrong. Let's see if you get it wrong. 2 over 3 over A over B. What's the answer? Don't say it. Write it. I'm going to call on one of the online kids for this one, so be ready. Okay, let's go with Sophia Gilliam. Tell me what to do on this problem.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, it's a good day to review this then. Lisa, do you know how to change this problem around to make it easier to do?
Yeah, so you're gonna divide them into two fractions, and you're gonna have 2 over 3, and then you're gonna flip the bottom fraction, which is gonna be b over a, and you're gonna multiply them together.
So 2b over 3a. Raise your hand if or virtually or real if you had 2b over 3a. Okay, good. A lot of people had that one. So that's a quick reminder about the fraction over the fraction. There's so many little things like that. And this is your year to get it fixed. I'm willing to be that person that helps you get this fixed. Because I know because I look at your scores online. I know some of you only get like 8 out of the 20. And others of you consistently get in the high teens. Okay? Do you get, if imagine for a second it was your little brother who was a 4th grader and he shared with you that I really don't know how to read. By 4th grade, shouldn't you kind of know how to read? What if you were able to fix that for your little brother? You read to him every night, you helped him learn how to read. You get out to make a massive difference for your little brother to know how to read? You imagine going to high school and not being able to read? Oh my gosh. You can make a huge difference. I want to do that for you. If you still have weaknesses like this, let me help you. We'll get it fixed. You can learn them all in just a few minutes. Okay, let's do one more. I would like to take this one, 5 plus and minus the square root of 50 all over 10. See if you can simplify that, because if you're in the middle of the quadratic formula and you get it down to this, you got to know how to simplify it. Oh, sorry, there's a mouse in the way here. This is like learning a language. Math has so many words that you need to know. And this is one of the words. This has got a ton of little pieces that are super important, like square root of 50, it's 2 things. It's square root of 25 and the square root of 2. You should add 5 root 2 there. Then you should have said 5 plus and minus 5 root 2 all over 5 times 2. Do you get it? If you can factor it, you should. Okay, then this can be factored. 5 comes out of that. And I got 1 plus and minus root 2. Some people just drop that 1. You can't drop that 1. Why? Because if you multiply this back out again, it has to equal this. If you didn't have a 1 there, it wouldn't work. Then these cancel. 1 plus and minus root 2 over 2. Raise your hand, real or virtual, if you had that one right. Looking online, looks like we have 2 kids out of the 5 onliners today, maybe 3. Okay, you can put your hands back down again. So next, I'm going to do something kind of weird. I'm going to hand out the test. I'm going to give you one last chance to ask a question before you start. Like, you're going to be able to see all the questions. You're going to be able to know, oh, I'm not going to be able to do that one. Raise your hand and ask. Okay? So, everybody who's online, you're going to open up the file that is called Top 20 version 6. It, by the way, is not one of the ones that has an answer key online. Why? Because I want to know if you can really do this. I have a sneaking suspicion that some people had their big brother help them do the top 20 or something. And you're going to have a super high score on that one, but not be able to do it when you don't have an answer key somewhere or a brother to help you. So we're doing this right now. No calculators. At your level, no calculators. Now, I can't really stop kids at home from cheating on the calculator part, but it really wouldn't help them that much. There's only a couple where a calculator wouldn't even matter. But if you were in my regular higher algebra class, I would let you use a calculator. But you guys are honors kids. You're supposed to be able to do 9 times 6, etc. Wait just a second until everybody has one to start. Anybody else that needs a pencil, I will deliver in a second. Could you hand that over? And again, I offer you the option. You can just flip this over on the backside, use it as scratch paper, and instead go to Algebra Ninja and take a true 20. They're not hard to find. Go to the ACT prep area and take a true 20 if you choose. And that's if you assume you've got this down where it's you're either going to get a 19 or a 20 guaranteed. Take that instead. Okay, now before we start, look at this. Try to determine which one you're like, oh crap, I know I'm going to get that one wrong. And I'm going to cover a couple before we actually pull the trigger on the start here. Pencil? Yeah. All right, I'm going to get some nominations. And I'm just going to be real. If there's only one kid that wants to know, I'm probably not going to do that one. But if there's like multiple people who would like to see it, then I'll keep it in the running. So, nominations. What problem number would you think? This is off the one that's posted online. What problem number would you say would be a good one? You can type it in the chat if you're at home. Or if you're in the classroom, you just raise your hand and say, I'd love to see a reminder on problem 6 or whatever. Yes? Number 16 has been nominated. We'll have a vote in a moment on which ones you guys would rather see. Yes? Number 6 has been nominated. Yes? Number 12 has been nominated. Don't feel bad. We can have nominate a few more. Oh, in the Google Meet we had 5 and 8. All right, those are going up. And you know, if it was one-on-one, I would explain every one of these, but I don't want to bore people by explaining too many of them. Last call. Is there any that you would like to add to the voting list? I will explain the top 3. Okay, then everybody look at 5, 6, 8, 12, and 16. See which ones you want to vote for. I'll give you all 2 votes. You can vote for 2 things off of that list. 5, 6, 8, 16, and 12. And the kids that are at home, if you would put in 2 numbers, something comma something, as your votes for what 2 you would like to see. All right, and I'll just take hash marks in class, and I'm going to stop the video for this moment just because this will be kind of boring.
2LW plus 2W for L.
All right, I'm going to do one that's similar because I don't want to actually give you an answer. But would you agree that perimeter is 2 lengths plus 2 widths? This is something called a literal equation. It's got lots of variables. P, L, and, oh wait, I shouldn't have perimeter as a P. I'm going to call it R for perimeter. There. I got 3 different variables. How do you solve this? Well, first of all, it is solved for R. What if I wanted to solve for L? On this kind, you would just circle the number thing you want to solve for. So if it says solve for L, you circle that, and then you try to get it alone. Who can tell me, what would I do to solve this one if I wanted L alone? Yes? You would eventually divide by 2, but it'd be smarter to do something else first before you divide by 2. This is just a speed thing. What do you think? Subtract 2p would be first. Why? Because now you get it down to just a 2. If you subtract 2p on both sides, do you get there's just a 2 left? And now, how do you write r minus 2p? You write r minus 2p because you don't know what they are, so you leave them as variables. And then you divide both sides by 2. And there it is. That's all they mean. The answer has to have variables in it. That's number 6. The next one you guys asked about was number 8. Would you read me number 8, please, sir?
Simplify 3a to the third power, b to the fourth.
All to the power of.
All to the power of 2
Okay.
times 4 multiplied by a to the second power, b to the second power, and b to the second power.
All right. Now I'm going to change the numbers just a smidge because I want you to do this one yourself. But let's say this was an 8, and let's say this was a 2. I'm just tweaking it a little bit so I'm not doing your exact problem. You would start by doing the 2 squared, and then the a squared to the 8th. You got to know those rules. A to the 16th. I know, could have been a to the 10th. How do you decide for sure? If it's a to the 8th squared, do you get that means a to the 8th times a to the 8th? And when you look at it like that, you're never going to think that's a to the 10th. You know what I mean? When you write out what it really means, how could you even think that that would be a to the 10th? It's got to be a to the 16th. The next one, b to the 4th. I just multiplied, so I better multiply again, right? B to the 8th. And the red one, you can drop the parentheses. A lot of people are not comfortable dropping parentheses. When can you drop parentheses? When you can't distribute something. Why can't we distribute something? Because there's no add or subtract in there. Those are all multiplies. You cannot distribute into a parenthesis if it's only multiply in there. Okay, so if there's nothing that's going to distribute in, then you could drop those parentheses. Now, numbers go with numbers. Letters go with letters. 16, a to the 18th. This is the kind where you add them. B to the 10th. That's a good review of exponent rules. Those are a big deal. Yes? Yes, you may. And the last one we're supposed to talk over is number 16. Could you please read me number 16?
Yeah. So find 3 points on f of x equals 2x cubed minus 3x minus 2.
I'm changing the problem just a little bit. If they want 3 problems, this is like number 16, and I've changed the problem, of course. If they want 3 points that are on that, all I do is make an XY chart, and I pick anything I want. Anything I want to put in for x. I choose 0 and 1 and 2. You can choose -2. You can use -1. You can put in anything you want for x. And watch what happens. When I put in a 0, I quickly realize that f of x, which is like y, is just -7. You get how I just got 0, -7 as a point? You stick in any numbers you want. I choose to put in 1. I put a 1 here. I put a 1 here. And now y is, that's 2. Minus 5 makes -3. Minus 7 is -10. There's a second point. So you just take the numbers, any numbers you want, stick them in for x, see what y comes up. If I put in 2, I'm going to end up with 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Minus 10, which makes -2. Minus 7, which makes -9. Double checking myself because it doesn't seem right, but I'm going to check it. 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8. Minus 5 times 2 is 10. 8 minus 10 is -2. -2 minus 7 is -9. There we go. There's 3 points. Okay, these are all little basics. I'm hoping that you will do better on it than you would have. And now you have 20 minutes, starting now, to finish this. When you are done, we will grade it. But I am not sure we will have time to grade it today. Yes. Come on up. Okay, so today we are obviously taking the top 20. I have a feeling you are not going to finish it during class today. I just looked at the clock, and that's totally okay. So this is going to instead be due on Thursday. You have another little thing that's out there that you have due Thursday for me. We're going to add this to it. Okay, so get the top 20 done. This was version 6. You will find it in the folder for today, which is, today is April 13th. That's all I got for you for today.